Hey, how's it going, everybody? Today I wanna make sure that we get into something. I think I've done the video a long time ago and deleted deleted it, and today we're going to redo it, probably in a more detailed way. The document is called Imperial Chart, Chart Imperialisme in French. So this document is a document that under siege African continent today. It is a very, very dangerous document, a genocidal document in every single way you can think of it. So let's get into it. So okay, it says this chart was drawn up in Washington during the slave trade, then quietly negotiated at the Berlin Conference in 1885, while the Western powers divided Africa secretly. Renegotiated in Yalta when the world was divided into two blocks after the World War II and during the creation of the League of Nations, the ancestor of the United Nations. So one thing we gotta understand, while this document was written 1885, also they had the whole meeting about this document in Washington, which is in the United States of America, because some of us we didn't know that United States was also part of this this evil, I would just say. Second important thing we gotta understand also, this document was also discussed when they was trying to create the United Nations, because you gotta understand United Nations is being portrayed as a very humanitarian and very caring for the humanity type of institution, but it's very much a criminal institution, because we gotta keep in mind the United Nations has institution like WHO, the World Health Organization, which is also part of this agenda. And then we're gonna see how evil this is. You got UNICEF, who are supposed to be keeping an eye on education, and is miseducating and indoctrinating in a very dangerous way our youths. And you have also the military part of it, and many other organization that works with it. So it's a very dangerous, very dangerous and criminal institution, we will say. So this is how we know, and the source of this document is a Tervuren Museum. So the Tervuren Museum is in Belgium. It's also called the Royal Museum of Central Africa. So whoever will try to check it out, but we gotta say that this document is displayed inside the museum. So whoever wants to go there and check it out, feel free to do so. Now, what the document is saying, let's take probably about 4 part of it. So what it says, Article 1, which says the model of imperialism to rule the world and control the planet's wealth. Our policy is to divide and conquer, to divide, rule, dominate, exploit, and plunder the world's wealth, to fill our banks and make them the most powerful in the world. So they are plundering all the resources all over the place, especially in the African continent, and because this is basically for the African continent most of it. They need to plunder the resources of African continent and to exploit, to do all this evil thing, mostly to fill them, to make their banks the most powerful. But there is a little thing that I wanted to play to explain also here, is that excuse me, when they're talking about how they will be making their banks richer and bigger, is that they must create a system which will also not just take the resources out, but even the currency manipulation is part of this warfare. So China is not just is not the first person who started it. They started it first, and then China just actually follow along. So I wanted to make sure that people understand what's going on in this thing, and I will just give two quick examples. You see, when we look at here, we see country like Senegal, Guinea, Mali, Burkina Faso, Ivory Coast, Niger, Benin, Togo, Cameroon, Central Africa Republic, Gabon, Congo, Brazzaville. All these nations, I just say, they are under oppressive colonial monetary system controlled by France, the French, and this is a very oppressive and very genocidal type of monetary system. In fact, it was inspired by Hitler's invasion of their countries, when Hitler created this thing to take the resource from their country. So they reverse it and then they bring it back in Africa. Sick. So the second countries that are dealing with these things, which is also the Democratic Republic of Congo, because they have a similar currency, and it is actually made by Belgium. Something people don't understand about Belgium: when they were here, they were trying to get who's going to get which part of Africa. The king of Belgium, actually, he wanted to get the Congo, all this big territory, but he didn't have money. He didn't have the skills level. He didn't have the technician, nothing of that. But he was backed by most powerful country also, which is the United States. They backed him so that he can take control of it. But he will not, he can do nothing without the United States of America be able to say something about it. So what the Belgium doing, basically cut the tree in the Congo, bring it back to Belgium, and give the Belgian people work. And when they finish to do this money, they print out this money and bring it back in the Congo. What happened is they control the value of money, which means that they can make sure it is valued correctly or undervalued. They also correct the exchange rate, which is sad. I will just give you an example right here. As you can see, this is Congolese franc against the euro. So one euro equal 1,954.69 of Congolese franc, which is insane because they keep devaluing this money. So people will say, well, it's just a number. What's that have to do with the reality in the ground? This is the reality, okay? Congo, as we all know, is a country that has extremely a lot of natural resources like a gas, like a large deposit of iron and platinum, diamond, gold, uranium, coltan. It's extremely unbelievable. They have so many arable land, so that means that this country has a lot of resources. So what they do is they devalue money. 1 euro equal 1,954 and 69 cents. So what that means, if 1 pound, okay, if 1 pound of, let's say, coltan is what you need for the high-end technology today, batteries and smartphone, all these things, it needs it, okay. Every high technology, whether it's military, civilian, or you want to launch a rocket, you want to launch a satellite, whatever you need, this resources you will find there in the Congo. So let's say that I want to have a kilo, let's say a kilo of gold is 500 Congolese franc, okay. So actually, if I want to have approximately 4 pounds, meaning that almost 4 pounds, I just need 1 euro. In other terms, they are buying it for free. They're buying 3 kilos for free. That's the danger of devaluing the money. So it's currency manipulation. Unfortunately, the US and Euro are really all over China against it. They should be doing that, but China learning from them. The second thing, that was for the currency manipulation, the way they are filling their banks. But when you come back the way they're filling their banks, because there is a lot of ways they're doing it, and it's very sick. So that was the second part of it. Say no third world country constitute a sovereign and independent state. So once again, we come back on our map right here. They say no third countries is independent countries. What that means? That means that they control everything, how things are done, and whoever gets in the way shall face the consequences. So I would say how African continent is being impoverished, everything like that is based on them. But people say, oh, you escaped it, you trying to escape the responsibility. It's not like that. I'm not the one who said it. They said it themselves. They say that no third world country constitutes sovereign and independent states. And then I'm gonna show you right now. So let's say here, this is Patrice Lumumba, Patrice Emery Lumumba, and President Joseph Kasavubu. These are the first Congolese president, president and prime minister when Congo took independence from this criminal Baudouin, which was the descendant of criminal genocide Leopold II. So in a Congo, when Lumumba and Kasavubu was trying to actually go ahead and make the country even better and go further, guess what they did? They killed him, and they put him in house arrest. Later on, he passed away also because they have been mistreating him. They denied him the care, and he died in a very, very traumatic way as well. Second place we will see here is the Ivory Coast, and the man Ivory Coast. So what I was thinking about was Ivory Coast. Ivory Coast is right here to show you once again that there is no sovereignty, nor there is an independent state. These are the proof. In this country called Ivory Coast. In Ivory Coast, if you understand what happened was that there's this man, Laurent Gbagbo. He won the election, and his country said he was the president. The French say no, he's not. They didn't recognize him. He said no, but what's your problem? It's our country, and we did the election, and everything passed according to the law, and I was the winner. They say we didn't want. Why the French didn't want him first? You got to understand that he stood for his people. He stood for the right of his people. He said that there is a way we have money to create, to build, to do everything we need. We don't need to ask other people's money. And the French didn't like that at all, because they want this colonial oppressive behavior and cycle of damaging Africa to continue to go on. So they want to replace him by a puppet, a very useless man, which, by the way, he's got a wife who's a European, and also it was reported that she is a secret agent of Israel. I am not confirming that, but this is what I have been hearing here and there, and we're gonna dive more into it. So the French decided to invade this country, bomb the people, murder thousands of people, and capture him, deported him to the Negro court, which they call International Penal Court, which it does not exist. It's only to silence the African people who decide to work for their own people. So that was Laurent Gbagbo, and later in the series we're gonna go deep in every details I'm giving, because remember, this is just the overview of this document, and then we will go further with the realities we see and what the document's actually saying. So that was an Ivory Coast and the Congo, and we can go all through our African continent. We will see the same behavior. So Africa is not a sovereign nation or continent. It is also not independent, not sovereign. So that was the second part of this document. The third part of this document is say all power in third world countries emanates from us, who exerted through pressure on the rulers, who are just our puppets. No organ of the third world can claim to exercise it. So what we're saying here is this: they say all power in third world countries emanate from us. Let's see. Later on, when we go back to the Congo here, we already talked about how they murdered Lumumba and Kasavubu. That's because they didn't like them. They saw them as a threat. So they have to put someone, again, that reflect the mindset that is being talked about here, which is all power in third world country emanate from us. So we have Mobutu Sese Seko, Kukumbendu Wazabanga, Abu Manko Ina Maboko. So Mobutu have been put in power to replace Kasavubu and Lumumba. So that means that his power comes from the Western powers, mainly Belgium and United States in his case. Okay, and we will see here we will also see here that in this country right here is called Burkina Faso, and we will see here that this man right here, Thomas Sankara, have been murdered to replace this right here, Blaise Compaoré, a puppet that have plundered this country in the most insane way. So again, this with the we put aside to side with reality, it is telling us the same thing. Now you see, all power in the third world country emanates from us, who exerted through the pressure on the ruler who are just our puppets. So what it means that even the people they put in the power, even this guy right here, Blaise Compaoré or Mobutu, as they put them in the power, they have to constantly put them in the pressure so that these people will not do what the people want, what they have to make the country great. And if you divert from that, and as we will see in the next segment, how Mobutu diverted from that and then start doing good on these people, and then how they just turn him, upside down. You will see that in there. And also this puppet, they kept him because he was ruthless and stupid, I will call him there. Excuse my language, by the way. This is what it is. So they say no organ can exercise, no organ of the third world can claim to exercise it. So that means that there is no government, there is no institutions in African continent who can claim to use the power to solve the problems of African people. So you cannot exercise it at all. You do not have that right. The fourth, they say all third world countries are pretty much, they can divide it any way they want, and their borders can be moved according to our will. Respect for territorial integrity does not exist for the third world. This might just seem like a very broad and random statements, but it's very dangerous, and millions of people are being murdered every single year for this statement. You will not believe. I'm not going to give you a few examples here. So the country of Sudan, it was one country, now it's a northern Sudan and southern Sudan. So which means that the people used to live around here, they have been divided. The people used to live in a single country, they became two countries, and whoever live in the southern part and is being seen now as a threat in the northern part, and vice versa, because they might actually murder people based on their agenda. Why they're trying to do that? Because they want the resources, and in order to have the resources can only benefit from the Western powers and their corporation. By the way, I want to make sure that Western powers and corporation are single entities. People don't need to start pulling them apart. They're single. If you look everywhere the Western world goes to the wall, these corporations are behind there. So they are one entity. We must comprehend that. So they divided this place right here. Today is war all over the place. They're trying to do the same thing in the Congo, in the eastern part right here, starting from northern all the way to the southern part. They're trying to divided, and there's a lot of our African brothers and sisters around here that are contributing to this madness. They are being manipulated. They say that they were the puppet, so they are being manipulated to further this agenda, and in the process millions of people have been murdered. They're trying to do that in Mali as well, because they found Mali, because they thought Mali was a poor nation, and then now they see that Mali is not poor. Now they are actually trying to create a war. The French finance after they have created this war in Libya, they make sure that the guns from Libya flood all the way to here. Now it's here. They finance the jihadis over there, and the war start going on in Mali, and they're trying to cut this part of Mali, northern part of Mali, and stick it either with Algeria, or create a whole another state which will be constantly invading this part of Southern Africa. So which means that they're trying to create sort of a state which will be run by Western powers and corporation, with their friends of this Arabic friend, those who invaded all this northern part of African continent centuries. So they're trying to get down and down and down till they will take all over the African continent. So we need to keep that in mind. Now, as you see, it continues. There is no respect to territorial integrity. Just like I just said, they're cutting these places, creating wars and invasion all over the place. They invaded this, they invaded here, so they continue their behavior. Now, that was all the way to the 4th, so we're gonna end it here in our 5th. Now, what it says, all dictators must put their fortune in our banks for the security of our interests. This fortune will be used as a means of donations and credit granted by us as assistance and development aid to third world countries. You see, everything they say, oh, we don't want them to come here, where the United States will give African countries money to do this, they're gonna give them development aid. What is a development aid? There is no such thing as development aid or assistance. It is a very sick, perverted behavior that is designed to humiliate African countries. So China is reversing everything they do on them. Not so far, China start giving them the financial aid and technical aids, and this is why you see they hate China so bad, because they view China as looking upon them down, just like they've been doing this. But the thing is, they use our own money, which they force the dictators to put in their banks, and then they will give it back to us, saying we give you aid and assistance and credits, and we're gonna pay them back with interest. Well, it's our own money, because he just said it here. It says it's our own money, they use it, so they don't give us nothing. They're actually stealing us in the process. How sick this behavior is. But we will continue with further details, with upcoming videos, which will be dedicated for just one articles in details, and we will gather a lot of pieces together.